Hey everybody, and welcome to my channel. I am back today doing another Plein Airpril, but actually what you're seeing right now is my painting from yesterday. And I could not post a full video yesterday of my Plein Airpril because my camera was not on for most of it. I didn't notice that my video camera had turned off until I was really just about done. And then I turned it back on because at that point, I didn't know at what time or at what point it stopped recording, so I kind of hoped that it didn't miss too much, but it turned out that it only recorded about the first 7 minutes of this painting that I spent about probably closer to 40 minutes on. So I'm just posting the tail end of that here. I really liked how this turned out, and I had this whole thing planned out of, how I wanted to talk about this painting and what it meant to me. But I guess I'll have to do that maybe another time. But I really liked how it turned out. So I was pretty bummed that that didn't work out. So today I was a little bit luckier. And by lucky, I mean that nobody called my phone while I was using it to record the painting today. And that is the major disadvantage about just using the camera on your phone to make videos. The way that I set it up, I can't actually see the screen on my phone. So if it stops recording while I'm going, I won't know it until I actually take the time to look at my phone, which I rarely do while I'm painting. So every time that happens, I think I really need to just invest in a legitimate video camera for this. But I don't know a lot about video cameras, but what I do know is that the main reason, or at least the second reason that I use my phone, I think the main reason is just because, it's my phone. I already have it. I don't have to go buy something to do these videos, and I really like that. And then the secondary reason that I like to use my phone is just that it's so compact. When I make these videos, I'm always working in a small space, whether it is in my car like right now, or in my studio where I just put my phone up on this overhead holder, and I could not do that with a big video camera or even with like a digital SLR camera. It would just be too big and heavy and bulky. It wouldn't work for the equipment that I use to prop up my camera. So I don't know. I thought about getting like a GoPro or something like that, but I'm not convinced that the quality of the image would be as good. I've heard really mixed reviews. So I don't know. If anyone has any ideas of like a small, compact, lightweight video camera with decent quality, then I would really be interested in that and maybe investing in something like that in the future. But anyway, so for my Plein Airpril today, I was kind of driving around a neighborhood that I used to live in. I no longer live in this area, but I always really liked this neighborhood. I think that if you live in a neighborhood and you spend time in it, you walk around in it, it doesn't matter what kind of neighborhood it is. Like, this is probably not like the neighborhood that someone would say, oh, I want to live in this neighborhood someday. It's a really old neighborhood here in my hometown, and many of the houses were built by immigrants back when this town was first being founded. And so all of these houses are very small, very simple. It's kind of a poorer neighborhood now. But I love small houses. I love small spaces. I've always, for some reason, just been really obsessed with small spaces, and I'm not really sure why that is. I mean, I've never lived in like a big house anyway, but I know the first house that I actually bought it had like 4 bedrooms, and it had a finished attic and a finished basement, and it was like too much space for me. It kind of made me anxious, and I really like the idea of living in a small space where I kind of just have access to everything all at once, and it's easy to clean, and it forces me to make decisions about what I have. And yeah, it's just really compact, and I feel comfortable in that, I guess. So anyway, in my old neighborhood, I suddenly remembered that there was this house that looks like it's probably about the size of a studio apartment, but it's a house. It's sitting all by itself, and I would love to see the inside of this house. It's so cute. I love the yard, and whoever lives there has it decorated really nicely on the outside, and I just absolutely love it. So I decided that I would stop here and paint this house and just kind of appreciate it for what it is. I think that my painting doesn't even really truly reflect how small this house is. The house that I currently live in is like 900 square feet, so it's quite small. But I would have to guess that this house is probably maybe 300 square feet. And so I just wonder how it's divided inside. I wonder if it has a basement, and I wonder who lives there. And, obviously they take really good care of it. And also, I think it's really cool because a lot of these houses, even though they're still quite small, I would say almost the majority of them have been added onto because we just live differently than our, predecessors, our ancestors who came just a generation or two before us. I lived in one of these houses. It was probably about 700 square feet with no basement. And I really was kind of impressed or interested in the fact that there were really no closets original to this house. So the closets that were in that house that I lived in, they had been just kind of like constructed at some point more recently. And it made me realize that, there was a time not that long ago when we didn't have such a huge amount of stuff that we had to have dedicated storage spaces in our houses. And another interesting thing is that as small as these houses are, these families had way more children than the typical family today. So I think that also goes into my interest in small houses, just kind of my interest in human beings and understanding how we live and how people before us lived and what that means for us now. Like, what are the implications of the fact that our material needs seem to have increased so much in such a short period of time? And what does that mean for us going forward? Is that sustainable? Is there going to be a time that we will all need to scale back? And I think that, for me, scaling back is appealing now. In fact, sometimes I think, when my daughter, who, she's 16 now, when she moves out, I feel like my 900 square foot house is going to be way too big for me. And so I'm like thinking, how can I get one of these little tiny houses? Or is it worth it to move into a studio apartment, even though my payment for a studio apartment would probably be more than my house payment is now, to be quite honest, which is very sad. Anyway, this was a really enjoyable Plein Airpril sketch, and when I was done, I actually left the painting at the doorstep of this house, which my daughter said is creepy, but I think it was nice. What do you think? I think it was nice because that's what my intention was, just to be nice. And I hope that you are having a nice day.